All right, so I'm doing my kindergarten lesson on counting to 10 with objects and correlating it to the physical number. The lesson goal and standard, the standard that it connects with is math content KCCV5, which is count to answer how many questions about as many as 20 things arranged in a line, a rectangular array, or a circle, or as many as 10 things in a scattered configuration. Given a number from 1 to 20, count out that many objects, and there is the URL. My lesson objectives are when shown a 10 frame, students will count that many objects with 100% accuracy, and when given objects, students will answer how many with 100% accuracy. The materials we'll need for this is the Smartboard, the textbook that I used. I guess we don't need that in the class, but that's what I used. And then their math journals. The contextual factors are that they enjoy working on math. They're slightly tired because math is after lunch. And group work can be a little chaotic because they're still getting used to some of the rules of school. So this is my introduction. I'm going to say we need 3 volunteers. I'll pick out the students that I want. They will bring a couple chairs up. And then we're going to look at the concept of fullness. Like we'll have all 3 people sitting in the chairs and we'll say, okay, all of these chairs are full. And then we'll take 1 person out. We'll say 2 of the 3 chairs are full and something like that to get their kind of minds open to the concept of a 10 frame and what it means if it were full. Then we will look at this frame. I want to be able to tell my students what they're going to be able to do at the end of this lesson and why it's important. So I can count how many objects are in a 10 frame, and I can say how many when given a number of objects. So then we're going to go through what is a 10 frame, and then this little check in your math notebooks. They're going to be able to go back and look at, we kind of visited the idea of 10 frames on the previous lesson, and this is continuation of that. And then we'll kind of discuss what their answers were. And then I'm going to do a show me type of thing. I'm going to have this little game where I can spin the spinner. It's going to land on a number, and then I place that many cats in the 10 frame, and I'll count out loud with the whole class while we do it. And then I have multiple other frames where I will call on students, and they will come up. And I'll be like, oh, so there's 6 now, and then how many less is that than 10? What plus 6 equals 10, kind of to give them that number references. And then we'll look at it this way. This is kind of the assignment that I will be giving them, so I want them to have a little practice with that. There's already the objects in the box, so counting how many there are. Just another example of that. And then we'll review what a 10 frame is. And then we will reinforce their I can statement, like I can count the number of objects in a 10 frame, and then I'll allow them to ask any questions they might have. This is the point where they will get out their assignment for the day. Before I set them free on it or send it home with them, I will ask them to think in their head what the answer to the first problem is, and then write it down or have everyone raise their hand when they're done. And then if it's collective and they all are understanding, I will set them free to do their assignment. The assessments I'm going to use are the observations while we call upon kids and how participatory they are in all the games. I can always put the animals back and do the games again for every student to make sure they all get it. And then their worksheet will be kind of an assessment as well. If they're having a hard time with numbers, like they don't recognize 1 through 10 very well, we'll have to go back and remediate that. But enrichment, I can give them all sticky notes and they can write 1 through 10 on them and then place them in order so they can see how that all works out. The resources I used were the Go Math textbook I based off this lesson, and I did find a 10 frame Smartboard lesson on the Smart Exchange website, and then the worksheet was from Teachers Pay Teachers. The reflection from the prior lesson was that the previous lesson went well and the students grasped the concept and were well prepared for this lesson.